No doubt, if you're not a Pokemon Go player, chances are you're at least vaguely familiar with the game. This summer saw thousands of Calgarians get off their rear ends and traverse this fine city on foot, likely bringing them to locations around the city they had yet to explore. Pokemon Go is an instant global phenomenon, doubling publisher Nintendo's market cap. Local businesses likely saw the benefit of this added foot traffic, and many people continue to report some significant weight loss. The game utilizes a technology commonly referred to as augmented reality, or AR. AR is defined as a live, direct, or indirect view of a physical, real-world environment whose elements are augmented or supplemented by computer-generated sensory input such as sound, video, graphics, or GPS data. Today we explore where augmented reality is currently, where it's heading, and some of the future uses in store for this fascinating technology beyond the realm of games. Hey Calgary, I'm Kevin Chorney. Thanks for joining us. Tonight I'm joined by Russ Dawson and Radu Muresan from the Calgary Game Developers. Guys, thanks so much for taking the time, being here.
Thanks for having us.
Definitely appreciate it. What's going on over there? I want to know about your role. Tell me about the Calgary Game Developers Association. Russ, maybe I'll start with you.
Sure, yeah, the Calgary Game Developers Association formed out of a meetup group that started a few years ago. So our association has been around for about a year and a half. And our goal is to support local game development, and that's from the hobbyists, the nighttime moonlighter guy, or any professional devs in Calgary.
Cool beans, devs, developer.
Yep.
Okay, so tell me then, Radu, you're a programmer. What's your role over there?
Yeah, my background is as a programmer. We have a few of those in the group. We try, like Russ said, we try to just foster the larger game development community in Calgary.
Yeah.
Most of us are also trying to make games. It's a bit hard to help people make games and also make games at the same time.
Yeah.
But it goes from organizing game jams and events and getting support for people from knowledge to any kind of things that can help you to make games.
So it's a collective. It's a bit of a, like you say, I guess a brainstorm, get all these ideas together and get something together. Are we going to see a little product in the future coming out of the Calgary Game Developers Association? Of course, you guys are always working on your own projects as it is, right?
Yeah, you won't see a project come out of like the association per se.
Yeah.
We're focused on helping individual members and groups of people
Do their
within
thing.
the association do
Very
it.
cool,
Yeah.
very cool. All right, well, let's get into it then, guys. Augmented reality. Now, as a relative layman, what exactly is augmented reality? How would you best describe it? Maybe, Radu, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I'll start. So it's a way of augmenting existing stuff in the world. So typically that's by overlaying information on top of something that's existing in the world. There's different ways you can do that, but fundamentally you're adding information to the world that you can
Hence Pokemon Go, which is, would you say that's kind of an elementary or rudimentary form of augmented reality, Russ?
Yeah. I mean, at the heart of it, Pokemon Go, it's mostly just overlaying some sprites onto the environment. There's minimal interaction, but at the same time, they're utilizing Google Maps, right?
GPS, right?
Yeah,
sure.
GPS to really, utilize those real-world locations within the virtual reality. So,
which is pretty cool, obviously. I mean, it took the world by storm, right?
Yes.
Why was it though? Why is it just so popular? Because I mean, the way you describe it, and I tend to agree, there's not really a whole lot going on there. So why, Radu? Why is it that it was such a global phenomenon?
So I think there's a few factors. The first one is that the Pokemon brand, which was instantly recognizable to a lot of people. The other one that's lesser known, the company that actually made Pokemon Go, called Niantic Labs, they had this game, I'm not even sure if I can call it a game, called Ingress for maybe 4 years before Pokemon Go, and that's been polished, and that experience, the core loop of that experience was really fulfilling on its own. So once you combine like a working AR experience with a good brand, that just like it was like the perfect storm. That just, I mean, everybody saw what happened, right?
Yeah, so, clearly. Yeah. What are some of the other ramifications though of Pokemon Go? Obviously, as I alluded to in the intro, we saw, of course, Nintendo's market cap saw a huge influx.
Yeah.
Local businesses, though, due to the foot traffic, is it fair to assume that some businesses really did reap some reward from this killer app, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things you could do in Pokemon Go as a business is put out Pokemon lures to have people come closer to your business.
Pokemon lures.
Yeah, it was a
total layman's for.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's a item that you could purchase within the game to basically attract Pokemon to that spot. And so businesses could purchase those, put them, right near the business, and help bring in players in and around their business.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So does it work? Do you think people actually showed up?
Yeah,
Hey,
definitely.
I might as well buy a coffee or get a.
There's
something
proven
to eat.
tangible benefits. Like the bottom line definitely goes up if, like, for people that show up at this location just because there's a lure over there. So yes,
Wow.
it definitely works.
Wow. So yeah, I can. Okay, then I can guess I can kind of see where Nintendo's market cap was heading in that direction that it did. Can it sustain a winter though? Can Pokemon Go sustain a winter in Canada? Especially Calgary. We've had, of course, some pretty nasty winters on record. Last winter was pretty nice. Granted, does it have the staying power? Is the game here to stay, or is it just a fad? What do you think?
I know it's lost a lot of daily active users.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact number, but I know at one point it had more daily active users than Twitter. It definitely doesn't have that now. I think the last time I heard a figure, it was about 30 million, which is still staggering.
Still definitely substantial, sure.
Yeah. Now, can it last a winter in Canada or northern climates? That's a really, really good question. I don't know if it can. But it's really tough to say. It depends on how hardcore of a Pokemon Go somebody is.
And some of these people are hardcore.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's make no mistake. Are people driving around playing this game? Are they cheating? Is that happening?
I've seen notifications in the app that tell you not to do that, so I assume that there's a reason for those. So yeah, people were most likely doing that. But once you get past a certain speed, you cannot use it. Even as a passenger, you need to acknowledge that you're a passenger.
But the game, it's definitely set a precedent, and it sounds like we are going to see a bit more of this moving forward, I would assume.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think even kind of with that, you're going to see companies and the designers of those games take a serious look at maybe the implications of, when somebody's playing our game, are they going to drive while they're playing it? Are they going to walk off a cliff? Or are they going to wind up somewhere where they
people
shouldn't?
have been hurt, yeah, of course, right?
Yeah.
Common sense, though. Common sense should dictate. Take care of yourselves, right?
It should, yeah.
You'd hope. We're going to jump to a quick break, folks, and check in with the rant pack. Stay with us. Okay, so
I think Pokemon Go is, I don't know, I don't really have an opinion about it. I think it's kind of dumb. I think it's kind of weird to walk around and look for things that don't exist. But I guess people want to do it because they like video games and stuff. In the future, I feel like it should be shopping, like you're like walking and then you find a pair of shoes and then you make an outfit and they make you maybe get like a discount at a store for that outfit. I feel like that would be better because then you can kind of see what you look like and stuff, but like chasing after weird creatures I think is weird.
Okay, so obviously Jennifer, fair enough, not a big gamer, but does see a use for augmented reality in the realm of commerce. I think that makes a lot of sense. If you can, get an idea of what these pants will look like on you, what those shoes will look like on you, I can see businesses putting that to use. Am I off the mark, or do you think that this is, something where this technology, augmented reality, could be heading, Russ?
That's absolutely heading that way.
Yeah.
And even back when Microsoft released their Kinect with the 360 originally, kind of in their promos and stuff like that, that was kind of the idea, is people would be able to shop online, they could stand in front of their Kinect, they could try on different outfits and things like that.
Basically, I mean, the Kinect has a camera, so it can pick up on the full dimensions of your body. I think originally that sensor was promised to even pick up digit movements. I don't know if it ever got to that stage as promised.
No, it never got, I don't know if it was never fully utilized or the technology wasn't there. But they kind of gave an indication of where you could go with that type of augmented reality.
Which is pretty cool. Now, is it safe to say, Radu, that the video game industry nowadays is driving visual technologies? And when I say that, I mean 4K TVs, because man, who's going to buy a 4K TV? I just don't get it unless you're a big gamer. There's not a lot of content that's going to be broadcast at your home right now. As far as I know, 4K DVD, I guess Blu-ray players aren't really readily available. Is it gamers driving this tech?
Historically speaking, I think it's always been the gaming front that pushed a lot of the technical innovations in terms of like graphics hardware, where there was like a TV or a graphics card or anything like that. But then they got pushed more into the mainstream, where you start getting the TVs with higher resolutions after you've had monitors with high resolutions. And everything kind of follows a pattern. Some of them don't really follow up, like the 3D TVs as much as others.
Gimmick, right?
Yeah,
Total gimmick.
Yeah. So.
You mentioned graphics cards, though, and this is kind of where game developers come in. I mean, this is a huge industry, graphics cards for computers, selling upwards of $700, $800 a pop for a graphics card. Just what does it take for a developer to really push the envelope in that direction?
I think you're typically looking at the bigger studios that do that with their in-house engines.
A lot of resources, a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. And really VR is kind of pushing that now as well. When people need these VR-capable PCs, and they need, NVIDIA's newest cards, the 1060, 70, and 80, they were all made and geared specifically towards VR gaming.
Right. So that's kind of my next question then. I mean, is VR going to be that new medium, or is it another peripheral? Is it going to go the way of 3D TV? What does your gut say, Radu? Is VR, I mean, really what it's cut out to be, what they're touting it as?
I think it's here to stay. It's not going to replace traditional gaming. It's going to be like another way to play games or have an experience, not necessarily games. There's applications, just like with AR outside of gaming, that are also going to catch on, like visualizing a house or any kind of 3D space. You can see in VR how it looks. There's some problems with technology right now that are still getting worked on. The headsets are still expensive, but the prices are coming down. There's some conversions between like high-end headsets that are really, really expensive, $700-800 to and like lower-end headsets like the mobile ones like Gear VR and Android. Well, Google just announced Daydream, I think, today. So
I haven't experienced VR whatsoever. I've been really looking forward to it. Have you tried the, I guess, Samsung Gear VR with the mobile phone? Either of you? Have you had that experience?
I haven't tried that one.
No.
I can't help but think that the experience with a mobile phone is going to be leaps and bounds different than the PlayStation VR, which of course will be released, I guess, in about 10 days here now. Is it fair to say that VR in the house is going to revolutionize not only, I guess, gaming, but how people interact with one another? I mean, I guess I'm concerned. Are people going to stay in their homes and really not leave their homes? Is that going to happen?
I guess it's possible, but the technology would really have to move to be able to make that happen. I mean, even right now, my limited VR experiences I've had, you're still pretty aware that you're in a game.
Yeah.
You know that, you're not aware of your real environment, so there's accidents that can happen, but I haven't played anything yet that completely took me out of the real world. I was always very cognizant that I was in a game.
Yeah.
But if the technology can get pushed further and further and these environments can look more and more realistic, I'd say it's a possibility.
Goes, right?
I think on the flip side, I just want to add to that it can actually bring people together in a virtual way. So there's been studies and experiences where if you're in VR with another person and just perceiving the head movement and the hands movement, it's another person, and hearing the voice, you feel like you're in the same physical space, even though each of you are in your own home on your own couch playing something together. So it has this like social binding power, where you like connecting with your family or...
Of course. And I think you're onto something there too, because there's this whole generation of video game players now that are, predominantly, I guess, kids that really hadn't had the experience of multiplayer gaming with their buddies beside them, right?
Yeah.
So, growing up, you play the Mario Kart, the wrestling games, the sports games, whatnot, and your friends are physically right beside you, and it's a real social event. We fast forward about 15 years, and sure, you're having a mobile gaming experience, to a degree, a social experience, but really you're looking at a screen with a microphone on and your buddy's not there. I can see where VR would certainly bridge that gap. Now that said though, with augmented reality, the HoloLens, of course, is in development. Well, it's available to developers right now. It's got a hefty price tag, about $3,000 US. It is being used, but not really as much as I think Microsoft would like it to be used. It is going to drop for games eventually. Just to wrap things up though, AR, VR, can they exist together? Or is it going to be like the beta and the VHS of the past, or HD DVD and Blu-ray?
I think they really offer two totally different experiences. I think you're going to see AR take off a lot faster than VR does, just because VR tends to be a more individual experience. Like you said, there can be connections, but VR, I don't think it quite has the same potential that AR does with things like the HoloLens and other technologies coming out.
Cool beans. I'm going to make that our final word for this segment. Guys, thanks a bunch for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Folks, we're going to jump to another quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.